Establishing a relationship with the planets. Hello, everyone. This is Taliesin McKnight. Thank you for joining me today. And today I'm going to talk about how to open up a highway of communication with the seven sacred planets. So, the more that we work with the seven sacred planets, the more it could be seen as a type of highway of communication. So many people find that a daily devotional type practice helps them. And today I'm going to talk about very simple ways, very practical ways, and traditional ways that this can be established. Ways that are consonant with the classical tradition. How can you start working with the seven sacred planets? So first of all, by working with them and opening up that doorway of communication. You know, there's something about calling upon God or the divine or something just when you have a need, you know. But alternatively, opening up a communication, establishing rapport. Not to mention that, as above, so below, we have these seven tones, seven frequencies, like seven notes on a musical scale within ourselves as well. We all have our inner warrior. We all have our sexuality. We all have our ambition. We all have all of these types of things within us. Not to psychologize this overly, but establishing a connection. Establishing that connection is like clearing the brush from the highway, clearing away some of the blockages or some of the foliage that may cover the pathway. You want a clear pathway and communing with the seven ancient planets so that when you have a time of need, you may find that connection more readily available, perhaps. I encourage people to experiment and see what happens. Now, so I recommend doing a daily practice of just honoring, not necessarily working with. If you're going to do like actual magic with the planets, I recommend doing it when the planets are well aspected, well placed. Because astrological magic, a lot of that is about moving with the cycles that we observe in the heavens. Becoming more attuned, more aware of the cycles of nature and moving with those cycles. It's like swimming with the current or even the current carrying you as opposed to swimming against the current. So there is a distinction between a devotional practice like saying hello, here's an offering, and trying to make a talisman. The devotional practice can be done every day, regardless of what's going on. As a matter of fact, when a planet is badly placed, it could be looked at, offering a little incense and saying a prayer could be seen as a little bit of appeasement, maybe softening a little bit those influences of those planets. So a daily devotional practice. By the way, I'm not going to plug this, or I might, but Christopher Warnock, where is that book? Christopher Warnock, yesterday I plugged, come on, where is that book? I have, I have so many books, and this is just a few. Here we go. So this is a really, actually, here's 3 books I'm looking at right now by Christopher Warnock. So yesterday I talked about Secrets of Planetary Magic by Christopher Warnock. Another good one, Secrets of Planetary Ritual by Christopher Warnock. This one really focuses on the Picatrix, which is a medieval grimoire. So it's classical magic. And this book right here, The Celestial Way, the Spiritual Path of the Stars and Planets. This text right here is really good. It talks about having a daily devotional practice, whatever's going on with the heavens. So again, there's a distinction between trying to make a talisman when things are just horrible in the heaven. Again, you're going with the cycles. You're observing the cycles of nature. And a daily devotional practice, which is like saying hello, I honor you, no matter what is going on. So again, it's about, and Christopher Warnock agrees, and I agree, that establishing a daily practice. Now, a perfect way to do this, and you don't have to just keep the practice nonstop, although it's good to just have it as a daily regimen, you may find that sometimes you feel a little out of tune. It's like tuning your instrument, right? You want to play the notes clearly. When it feels like you're not really connecting to the magic as well, it's like your guitar is out of tune, right? So establishing a daily practice with the planets is like getting your guitar in tune. You're able to play the keys or the notes more clearly. Okay? So whether or not you just maintain this forever, or this could be a daily practice that whenever you feel, I'm a little out of touch with the planets and the heavens and all of that, I want to get more in tune with that. Okay? It's like tuning your guitar. You want your guitar always to be clearly tuned for when you do the magic. Hi, Gypsy. How are you doing today? It's so great to see you here. Thank you so much for tuning in and saying hello. So it's about a daily practice. A really good way to do it is to observe. So the 7 days of the week, most of us know the 7 days of the week are named after the 7 planets. So Sunday, day of the sun, Monday, moon day, Tuesday is Mars, or Tears Day, Wednesday is Mercury, or Woden's Day. In English, we actually use like the Norse quote-unquote equivalents. Woden and Thor for Thursday, Thor's Day, Friday, or Frigg's Day. So but in like Spanish speaking languages, like lunes, martes, miércoles, Mercury, miércoles, lunes, luna, the moon. Okay, jueves, Júpiter, viernes, Venus, sábado, Saturn. So basically, a very simple way to do this, hi, Brianna, how are you doing today? A very simple way to do this is at sunrise. Sunrise is a wonderful time because the energies are coming in. And it's a great way to begin our day with kind of a spiritual upliftment, a spiritual practice. It helps to bring energy into the day. And for many people, myself included, I find mornings to be ideal for ritual practice because we're not carrying the stress from the workday into the ritual. We're more clear. Maybe we wake up a little bit first, but we're not carrying the stress of a workday and all the stuff that went on. We're more able to focus, and also we're able to carry the spiritual energies into the day. Also, it's easier for procrastinators. It's best to begin the day with a practice so that way you know it's done. And lastly, doing rituals sometimes can be a little energizing, may make it harder to sleep. Although dreams might be more interesting. But anyways, sunrise. At sunrise, it's always the planetary hour of the planet. So Sunday at sunrise is going to be the day and hour of the sun. Monday at sunrise is going to be the day and hour of the moon. Tuesday at sunrise is always going to be the day and hour of Mars. So it's perfect for a sunrise. Just light a little incense. I recommend frankincense and myrrh. Combination, frankincense and myrrh. Not the stick incense. You want to get the real stuff. I'd get the little charcoal things. They're like charcoal discs that you can burn incense on, and get the actual resin. Or at least get the cones. But you don't want to get this fake stuff that's just the fragrance, because we don't understand everything about magic. Maybe it's not all just in the head, and maybe there is something in the substance. Again, experimentation is key. But I recommend a blend of frankincense and myrrh as a good general incense. Church incense is basically what it is, because it's what has been used in the church for many centuries. Frankincense and myrrh combination. And then also, you may want to get incense of each planet eventually. Now, incense is something that we find in the Greek magical papyri throughout the grimoires. Suffumigation or incense is an offering. It's something that was offered in ancient Babylon and Egypt, and it's just a universal incense. You burn incense as an offering, or to charge a talisman, you wave it in the incense smoke while reciting something. Burning incense at sunrise to the planet, I think, is a great devotional practice. Also, let's say that's not practical or you don't want to do it that way. The planetary hour. There are 3 times that the planetary hour is going to hit within a day. So, look for that planetary hour at a different time. So, the day and hour of the planet, burn a little incense smoke. And again, it's about opening up a highway of communication. Okay? It's like tuning a guitar for good play. Whenever you start to feel out of touch, doing this. Second of all, which I brought up earlier, you don't want to be doing full-on talismans or evocation when a planet's horribly placed, for example, at least according to traditional astrological magic. But there's 2 different things. There's the full-on magic, and then there's just burning some incense, saying hello, making an offering. As a matter of fact, like I said, when a planet is badly placed or retrograde or whatever else, burning a little incense, offering a prayer, hello, or I honor you, could be a way to kind of soften or kind of appease a little bit those energies, kind of soften them a little bit. So there's a difference between full-on, like, spirit evocation and just a little devotional practice. So this can be done every day as a devotional practice, no matter what is going on. And that's what Christopher Warnock does. And he, I think that it's a great way to approach it. So we're talking about daily offerings to the 7 sacred planets. There are many people that are beginners with this, that they're like, well, how do I begin? Well, first of all, you learn about the 7 sacred planets. You start learning little bits of astrology, which I talk about in these videos. It's really pretty simple once you get it down. And start building a connection. And that's the difference between just reading about it and actually doing it. Opening up that line of communication between yourself and the 7 powers, the 7 great governors of the world, as the Corpus Hermeticum says it. Sylvia says, I love burning frankincense, myrrh, and patchouli leaves in my cauldron. That's awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for joining me here, Sylvia. It's great to have you here. Thank you for stopping by to share a little bit and to say hello. A second thing to consider is that this practice could be catered to someone that is pagan, and it could equally be catered to someone that's for more of a Judeo-Christian perspective. Or Islam, there's, whatever your tradition is. So if you're looking at things from more of like a Jewish Kabbalistic perspective, the 7 planetary archangels. So you have Tzafkiel, or you have Cassiel for Saturn. You have Tzadkiel for Jupiter. Samael or Kamael for Mars. Mikael, some would put Raphael there for Mikael is what I do for the sun. Okay, Hanael or Anael for Venus. You have Raphael. Some people put Mikael for Mercury. Gabriel for the moon. So the seven planetary archangels are perfect for somebody that wants to approach it from that perspective. And I talk a lot about the Shem angels and stuff, but I want all of this to be accessible to everyone. I don't think Shem angels care what your religion is, honestly, just my honest opinion. Um, you know, I've had some like gatekeeping like comments like, "Oh, you can't do this if you gotta, whatever." I disagree, sir. Thank you for sharing your opinion. I don't think Shem angels care what your religion is. Um, but people that come from a pagan background, I mean, this is classical paganism. You're working with Kronos or Saturn. You're working with Jupiter, which is Zeus in the Greek pantheon, Jupiter, king of god of the sky. You're working with Mars or Aries. You're working so the seven sacred. You're working with the sun. I mean, come on, people. Mercury, Venus, the moon. So, however you spin it, this is a continua. Basically, the reverence for the seven sacred divinities. These seven divinities from Greek and Roman religion and the Babylonian, all that stuff as well, that continued through the Renaissance and Middle Ages, except that they were called planets, and incense was burned to them with talismans to call on their powers. So, in that sense, you could say that paganism did continue in a way. It just became astrology. But basically, what I'm trying to say is this practice could be applied to whatever your path is. If you're more Judeo-Christian based, then the seven planetary archangels. It's perfect. Burn some, burn some incense to Gabriel on the day and hour of the moon. Burn some incense to Raphael, the day and hour of Mercury. Okay. And if you're from a more pagan perspective, then it's quite clear. The Orphic hymns, by the way, if you're comfortable with more of a pagan perspective, the Orphic hymns. Agrippa mentions the Orphic hymns. Now, Christopher Warnock is great. Like 10 years ago, I took his astrological magic course. It's a little pricey, but worth it. But I took his astrological magic course like 10 years ago. He's great. But most of what he does is he revives the classics. He looks at Agrippa, he looks at Picatrix, he looks at the classical material, and he mentions the Orphic hymns, which are mentioned by Agrippa. The Orphic hymns, basically, at sunrise, the planet of the day, burn a little frankincense and myrrh, or its own incense, recite the Orphic hymn. Boom, you're done. If you're comfortable asking for a petition, I would look a little bit at what's going on in the heavens, honestly. Um, I'm not sure I would ask a retrograde planet for something. But whatever you're comfortable with, but I would, if you want to tune your guitar, so to speak, then whatever's going on in the heavens, burn a little incense, recite the Orphic hymn, or pray to the planetary archangel, and just keep that connection, all right? Think of it like cleaning your pipes, all right? You're cleaning all the crap out so you have a free flow of water or energy, okay? We want blessings to freely flow to us. So, yeah, a lot of it is about this simple practice does several things, which is perfect for a long veteran of magic, and it's also perfect for a complete beginner. What it does, it attunes you to the seven planets. It helps keep those connections open. The highway, you're clearing the brush from the pathway for free flow, okay? You're like tuning your guitar, so to speak, to play clearly when you actually go to do serious magic. Like I said, you don't have to do this just non-stop all the time, but whenever you start to feel out of touch with the set, or you're like, I'd like to reconnect again. Very simple, sunrise, light a candle, light some incense, say the Orphic hymn of the planet of the day, you're done. You're in, you're out, maybe spend a few minutes to meditate, because I look at ritual and then silent, like listening or attuning, to be like yin and yang. They're like two sides of the coin, right? You burn the incense at sunrise, you hail to Mercury or whatever, right? You burn some incense, recite the Orphic hymn, and then I would just sit, clear the mind, just try to attune to the planet and just feel. So that's all about having a connection. Also, this helps us to start working with planetary hours and being more aware of the cycles of the heavens. Now, two great apps that I use and I've used for many years. One is an app called Planetary Times. Planetary Times, and it's got the little 7-pointed star on it. I think it's like purple or blue. It's Planetary Times. It even has a feature where you can put like a voice thing where it'll tell you verbally when it switches planetary hour, which is interesting. You're watching events of the day. It's pretty interesting to listen to. I used to do it, and I'd be driving, and some jerk, he's like laying on his horn and like driving like an idiot, and then it would say "Hour of Mars," Or I'd get a phone call and it'd say "Hour of Mercury communication." So, it's just interesting. The second app is Astro Charts. Astro Charts. I use Astro Chart Pro. It costs like a little bit, but you got it forever. What is it, like $2.99? And then there's Astro Charts Lite, which is free. So these are great apps. Of course, you have to know how to read a chart, which I'm going to go over in my videos. I think I talked a little bit about it. But anyway, so that is my recommendation for a complete beginner and also somebody that's done this for many years. I do it sometimes. I start to feel like, I need to reconnect a little bit again. Sunrise or another time of the planetary hour of the day. Light some incense, do the Orphic hymn, and that's it. Connect a little bit. We're just keeping those connections, It's kind of like calling up a buddy every now and then, seeing how they're doing, just to maintain those connections. So, anyways, so that's it for now. And then, of course, I'll have Patreon video coming up later. But thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a great day, y'all. See y'all in the next one.